Okay, everybody, I just want to say welcome, and it's nice to have you here for Energetic Intelligence for October 5th. Just going to give the date for those that aren't attending live, but we'll get the recording. So it's October 5th, 2015. And you are muted right now. We're going to do a little meditation, and then I will unmute you, and we'll continue our discussion. I know I already mentioned we're going to talk about cord pulling tonight. I'm going to teach you how to do that. Also, I have a question from one of the attendees that they would like me to address who can't be here tonight live. And then I want to give you all a chance also if you have something that you want to address relating to your energetic health or something that you want to better understand or learn to do. And so we'll take some time for all of those things. But first, I thought it might be really nice to start with my Divine Spark meditation. I kind of feel like we need a little reminder today of who we really are. And sometimes we lose that, and we live in a world that loses it frequently and kind of takes it from us. And so that's why I wrote this meditation. So if you wouldn't mind, just wherever you are, close your eyes and take a few deep breaths. Whether you're lying down or sitting down, just allow your body to settle and your mind to go quiet. Follow me on a journey to find the divine spark in you. Come with me as we walk down a wooded path. Feel the cool air on your face and hear the pine needles crunch softly under your feet. Ahead, you see a clearing. And standing in the clearing is a beautiful gilded mirror. Approach the mirror, stand in front of it, and take in the picture before you. There you stand, the divine you. See the flame of your heart light flicker in the breeze. See the beautiful colors of your aura as they move and swirl around you. See the powerful red cord of energy that connects you to the earth. Note the silver thread that connects you to the divine. Take in the real you, the one that is the divine, the one that is infinite, the one that will live on beyond this lifetime. Take a moment to memorize this image. You will need it to give you strength when you feel weak and disconnected. Remember that this is who you really are. When you're ready, join me as we walk back up the path, breathing in the scent of the trees and feeling the sun on your face. And take 3 deep breaths. And open your eyes. Okay, I thought that was a great way for us to start tonight. I just think sometimes we need to remind ourselves of our own divinity and who we really are, because we get kind of stuck in these 3D bodies, in this 3D reality, and I think we forget some of that. I'm going to unmute you guys now so that we can talk a little bit. Okay, so you are unmuted. Will everyone just take a moment and just say your names, because I have your usernames, but that doesn't always tell me what your name is.
Janet?
Mary Jo.
Mary Jo, okay.
And Christy?
Hey, Christy. Who spoke at the very beginning?
Janet?
Janet, okay.
Eva.
Michelle?
Eva and Michelle. Awesome. Okay. Thank you very much. It's nice to have you guys. Sorry, I have another member of the group, Elizabeth, trying to get in. Did anyone else have problems dialing in tonight?
No, I didn't.
No.
Will you very quickly just walk me through what you do when you dial in? Because I'm on the other end of it, and so sometimes I don't know. What questions does it ask you?
Your dial-in ID and then
Okay.
your PIN.
So it's your dial-in ID and your PIN.
Right, and then it says push 1 if you want to go to the conference.
But they give it to you in the email. They give you both of those, so you just look at it and dial it in.
Right.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you. Because it's a little bit different on my end, and so when someone's asking me how to do it, I'm like, well, I don't know. Okay. Hang on. I'm just sending her a message so that she can try it again. How are you guys tonight?
Great.
Great.
Good. Okay. I've messaged her, so hopefully she can get in, but if not, she can get the recording. Okay, so tonight we're going to talk about cord pulling, and I want to talk through all about that kind of an attachment and how to clear it and why that's a good thing for your energy body. But I would like to know if you have any other questions that you would like me to address tonight.
Nothing comes to mind right now.
Mm-mm.
Everything you said you were going to do is what I need.
Okay. So you have, okay, sorry, back to the sign-in thing really fast. So you guys each have an ID number, just like I have an ID number, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I'm hoping she's going to figure that out. Okay, cool. So, Michelle, I know you have a question. I already have that one, so we will get to that. But let's talk about cords and cord pulling first. So when I talk a lot about pulling cords, you probably hear me if you listen to me on the radio talk about that, or if we talk on Listen, we talk about that. And there are a lot of different kinds of cords. They are attachments. So they're energetic connections between you and a person or you and a situation. And there's a certain kind of cord that we pick up throughout the day. And I will tell you, we put these cords out as well. And so being aware of this is really important, because not only do you want to know how to pull them when other people have corded to you, but this is an opportunity to be able to remove your own if you cord to somebody else. So tonight I want to talk about emotionally charged thoughts and how emotionally charged thoughts create energetic connections. And so my favorite example of this is when someone pulls out in front of you in traffic and you have that knee-jerk, like, you know what I mean? You might say a cuss word or fly a certain finger. You know, you have like a really strong response to a total stranger. And when you have, that's a strong emotional reaction. That's an emotionally charged thought, right? How many of you have ever done that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So when we do that, what happens is that we cord to the other person. It's like we sling a little arrow, right, from our mind to them, like, ooh, you, blah, 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 right? And what's unfortunate about a connection like that is that now you have created an energetic connection between you and a total stranger, and that energetic connection is creating a pipeline of emotional energy in which you are feeling some of what they're feeling, and they are feeling some of what you're feeling. And so after a while, if you have a few of those connections, either that come at you or that are coming from you, you start to feel all of this energy inside of yourself that is not your own. People come to me frequently and say, I'm so confused. I feel so mixed up. I have all these emotions inside of me, and I don't know what to do with them. I feel anxious all the time, and I don't know why. Well, attachments like this cause us to feel emotions that are not our own. Now, they don't just come from strangers like that, but they actually most frequently come from our closest relationships. So spouses, family, friends, that's where we have some of our strongest reactions to what people say or do, and people have the strongest reactions to us. And so we create these energetic connections between us. And over time, you may feel like you have all of this stuff going on, and maybe you're feeling really overwhelmed by all of this energy, and in reality, it is not yours at all. It is the energy of other people who have connected to you. Now, emotionally charged thoughts are not all negative thoughts. It's not all, like the, oh, you pulled out in front of me kind of situation. Sometimes it is, oh, I just love you. I want so much from you. I need you. You have something I want, and that's where we get a lot of the energetic connections that come from family members and friends, or maybe if you work in some kind of helping profession or you work with people who need you a lot or who really look up to you, can create these same kinds of connections through having those emotionally charged thoughts about you. I'm curious, what is your experience with this? As I'm talking about this, is this resonating, like this is already happening to you?
Oh, yeah. That's why I'm laughing.
Good. Okay. So, I learned a lot about this as a social worker because my clients corded to me all the time. I worked with children, and I worked with adults with developmental disabilities and mental illness. And then I worked in a group foster home where the residents were, I was pretty much like their mom. I was like their foster mom, because my job was to go with them to all their school appointments and their doctor's appointments and court and probation and, wherever they had to go that a kid normally would have a parent that went with them. It was my job to go with them. And so I became very attached to them, and they became very attached to me. But they would cord to me, they would connect to me, and I would be exhausted at the end of the day because I felt like I was carrying around the energy of 10 people. Like I'm holding up 10 people energetically, because I literally was. And we all have these experiences in one way or another, whether it's family members, whether it's people at work, whether you or not you have a close friend or two that maybe relies on you quite a lot energetically. And so one thing that I have found that is very helpful when you are in that situation, and you probably all are, and that's what brings you to a class like this to begin with, is to learn how to pull those cords, how to release those energetic attachments from you so that you can just be back to just being you with your own energy again. And it's okay to do that. Sometimes, we think about, well, what if this person really needs me? What if they really need my energy? It's not right to disconnect me. The bottom line is we're all responsible for our own energy. And when we allow people to stay connected to us, stay corded to us, in a way we're sort of enabling them in not being able to stand on their own 2 feet, and not really learning how to balance their own energy, how to get what they need if we allow that kind of an energetic connection to still stay with us. So it really is okay to pull those cords. And I realize that many of us are in situations where you might have to pull those cords every single day, depending on where they are coming from. And that's okay to do. Because when you do, you return back to yourself being fully in full access of your own energy. So you're not anymore bleeding out energy to all these other people. And depending on your situation, sometimes you do have to do it every day. But if you do it every day, you will be much healthier energetically. This will not impact your vibration nearly so much as it does if you allow it to be something that you carry around all the time. I've worked with mental health professionals and nurses on this many, many times because counselors, social workers, people like that have a tendency to have tons of these kinds of attachments, and so do nurses, because you have people who need you, you're present for them, you help them in a way that is so positive for them. And so unfortunately, sometimes what happens is they reach out and they plug their little extension cord right into you. They have a very emotionally charged thought about how much they appreciate you, they love you, you support them, they need you, and they plug that cord right in and start to drain from a lot of times it's solar plexus. Solar plexus and heart are the most common chakras for this type of attachment. But they can kind of happen in all of the chakras, really. So I want to teach you a little skill, and then we're going to talk about some different elements of this. But you can scan your own energy body and ask, do I have any cords? And you can either start at your root chakra or start at your crown, it doesn't matter. But start at the top or the bottom of your energy body, and you just bring your attention to each chakra and you ask, do I have any cords? And you work your way through and you figure out where are all your cords. You can pull your cords all at once, or you can pull them from each chakra independently. Either way that you would like to do it is fine. But so say you get to your heart chakra and you just ask in your mind, and I want you to go with the very first response that you get. And so this is not something that you should overthink. It doesn't matter if you see them. It doesn't matter if you feel them. Maybe you just hear it or know it, the number, okay? And if you get nothing, then you don't have a cord there. But if you say you get to your heart chakra and you feel strongly that you have 3 cords in your heart chakra. So we're going to pull the cords from your heart chakra. So I'm sure you hear people talk about cord cutting. Now, I don't cut cords because a cord is an extension of somebody's energy body. It is a part of their aura. And so if you cut it, you are doing damage to it. And so that's something that I don't recommend. You also may leave part of that energy inside your energy body when you cut it. So I recommend that you pull cords like unplugging a cord from the wall. So when you get to your heart chakra and you feel that you have 3 cords in your mind, and you can do it physically too if you want to, you grab those cords and you unplug them from your heart. You just disconnect them. So then the next part of this is to, in your mind's eye, open up a vortex of white light in the earth. And we're going to use the vortex of white light a lot. So this is a place that I throw anything that needs cleared or transmuted or healed into it, and the energy of this vortex. So it's like a little upside down tornado of energy in the earth. It's going to heal anything I drop in there. So I unplug these 3 cords from my heart. I drop them in the vortex of white light and I let the energy heal. Now they're not going to dissipate because they are still connected to somebody out there away from you, somebody in your life. That energy is emanating from them. So I drop those cords in the vortex of white light and I allow that energy to heal them. And so I see them turn white. In my mind's eye, they turn white. And when they're white, they're healed. Once the energy is healed, that's when I want to send it back. The thing you have to be careful about with this is that it's never about getting back at someone. It's never about throwing their energy back at them. It is about returning their energy to them healed. That's a very positive way for you to do it for yourself and for the other person. So you drop those cords in the vortex of white light. You see them turn white. And then you just send them back to where they came from. In my mind, it's like they're bungee cords. And I just let go of them and they just sort of spring back to who they belong to and are reabsorbed into their energy body. It doesn't matter if you know who the cord came from. Sometimes we get a little too focused on that. You want to be careful with that because if you get really focused on where a cord came from, then maybe you record to that person because you're mad at them that they corded to you. Sometimes you will just know. You will just know, yeah, this came from so-and-so. I remember what happened today. This is where that came from. And sometimes you will not know. And it doesn't matter if you do or if you don't. All that matters is that in each chakra you ask, do I have any cords? And then you pull whatever number you get, heal them, and return them. So are there questions about that process?
I have one.
Yes.
Do you need to look at both the front and the back of the chakra, or just scan the front and that'll be it?
In this case, they're going to be in the front, but that's a great question. You should always scan the front and the back. Okay. We're going to talk about a different kind of emotionally charged thought attachment that will come in the back.
Okay.
So definitely do. And they're more, they're a little bit more angry, vindictive type experiences. These are more the I love you, I need you, you have something I want, I need your support kinds of attachments. And they're going to be in the front of your energy body. So now, because you asked that question, that's a really good question. You want to be aware also that sometimes we get attachments in the back of the energy body. When we get an attachment in the back of the energy body, this has to do with sometimes we do or say something that triggers something in someone else, and so they may feel angry toward us. Often it is you are speaking your truth. You maybe you say how you really feel about something, or you ask for something that you need, or you set a boundary. Now, the people around you, they have a choice about how they react to those things, and they may react strongly in a way that isn't really positive. Maybe it makes somebody angry, maybe they feel triggered or they feel attacked, and I'm not saying that you've said or done anything wrong, because usually you haven't at all. This is their perception. And so they will have an emotionally charged thought about you, but this is a little bit more passive aggressive. And so this is when you get what I call being stabbed in the back. You know, we use the term, and it's literal. In my world, when I look at your energy body, you get stabbed in the back sometimes. And so sometimes in a sort of passive aggressive way, instead of speaking up to you and saying, you know, when you said that, I felt blah, 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 and, you know, you have a way of working it out, then you may just have somebody that has a really emotionally charged thought about whatever you said or did. and that attachment will hit you usually in the back of your neck as a throat chakra attachment, or usually in your mid-back as a solar plexus attachment. So when you are scanning for cords, if you're scanning for all kinds of cords, then yes, scan the front and the back of your energy body, because you will find that you have different cords. Many people come to me with chronic neck pain and back pain that is coming from an attachment like this. Those attachments that come in through the back of the energy body cause a fair amount of physical pain. It's kind of like having a sliver. You know, when you have a sliver, your body lets it fester and works it out like it's not supposed to be there. It's trying to get rid of it. And so when you have an attachment like that, an energetic attachment, your physical body will react with pain because it's a warning bell that there's something here that isn't supposed to be here. So I work with a lot of people who, you know, if we don't clear these attachments, we carry them around forever.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of them stay stuck to us for a very long time.
Well,
and so somebody with chronic neck or back pain over years may actually have an attachment that's been there for a really long time. And after it's cleared, the pain will go away. Now, if you have a medical cause for a back and neck pain, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about people who have back and neck pain with they don't have a disc problem, they don't have a medical cause for that pain, but it's still there. It's frequently an attachment like this. Any questions?
Yeah, Christy, can you get that by empathizing with someone and like empathizing with their pain? Like if they have a pain, can you get that from?
You will likely cord to them in that
Okay.
case. It is the same thing, but it's actually emanating from you rather than emanating from them.
Okay.
And so if you scan yourself and you do have attachments, ask, are they coming from me or are they coming to me? And if they're coming from you, then you can reach out to whoever they're connected to, unplug the cord, drop it in the vortex of white light, and draw it back into yourself.
Okay.
And many of us as empaths do that. You know, we have a tendency to give our energy away. And so creating an attachment like that is something that you can do when you strongly empathize with someone else. There's nothing wrong with strongly empathizing with someone else, and even sending them a big burst of energy is a great thing. But when it's a cord that connects the two of you, that's when confusion begins and energy drain begins. And so we want to end those particular attachments.
Gotcha.
Make sense?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so I would like to just take a couple of minutes now. I want you to scan yourselves. So scan the front of your body and the back of your body. Ask, does this attachment come from me or is it coming to me? I want you to pull all your cords, drop them into the vortex of white light, send them back, or draw them back into yourself if they're you. And then when we're done, I want to go through each one of you and just ask you what you found in your energy body. So I'm just going to give you about 5 minutes to do that, and then we'll come back and we'll continue. Sound good?
Yep. Mhm.
Okay. All right. Maybe just when you're done, just say done.
I'm done.
Okay.
Done.
Okay.
Done.
Okay.
I'm done.
Okay.
I think it's just me, and I'm not done, but let's go ahead.
Okay, that's all right. Now let's just talk through. I'm just going to go through and ask you each one by one to tell us what you found and what you experienced with that, because I think it helps to talk through it, and then I want you to ask me any questions you have. So, Eva, if you would start, just tell us about what you found.
Okay. Can you hear me? Actually, I'm on a headset, so I'm not sure if you can, if I have a good connection.
I can hear you. You're a little quiet, but I can hear you.
Okay. The most significant chakra was root chakra,
Okay.
and I felt like it was mostly from a childhood. I'm not quite sure exactly from who or where does it belong to, but I just pulled out at least like 5 of them.
Good. Okay.
And another very significant one was from the very last chakra, the sacral, it's called chakra, and I think it's connected kind of to the also kind of childhood, like the religious belief maybe. I'm not quite sure, but it was like found.
Okay. And did you feel like when you pulled them and healed them that they did go, that they left you?
The root chakra, yes. The last one, I'm not quite sure actually.
Okay. That's okay. Those lower chakras, when you have cords in them, sorry, I'm going to close my door. My dogs are barking. That especially when they come from childhood, they may be trauma related in some way. And if they are, you may need some help to clear those. You may not be able to do all of those on your own.
Okay.
And so I suspect that might be the case. So that's something that you and I might need to work together on privately.
Okay.
But a lot of these attachments we can pull and clear ourselves. If you feel some that don't go or that leave and come right back, then they're another kind of attachment. They're not just an emotionally charged thought. They're another type of attachment that may take a little bit more work to clear. And so we can we'll talk about those as we go through this class. And some of them you may actually need, some individual work with me on.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's just something that I want you to know. But that's awesome, and I'm excited that you had some of those that did go. That's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Did you feel that it was positive when they were released?
Yes, I mean, I was very, it's the first time actually I did the type of work on myself, so I was a little stressed.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm doing the right way, but definitely, yes, I felt like I did go away.
Good. Very good. Okay, Eva, thank you for sharing that with us.
Thank you.
You bet. Okay, Janet, why don't you tell us what you felt?
Hi, Christy. I had felt like I had 3 cords in my solar plexus
Okay.
that belonged to somebody else.
Okay.
And those I was able to release. I don't have any idea what they were.
Okay.
But it felt like they left. And then I felt like there were 2 in my heart that were mine, that were elsewhere. And those I also felt like I was able to release. And when I did that, I've been feeling really tired the last few days, and I felt right away like my energy was coming back.
Good.
But I do have a question about the attachments. I do feel like there's something like in the back of my heart. It feels really hot.
Okay.
When you're releasing the attachment, can you explain again how you do that?
Yes. So you unplug it like unplugging a cord from a wall.
Uh-huh.
And then you drop it into the vortex of white light and just watch that cord heal. So in my mind, it turns white.
Mm-hmm.
And then you send it back.
So it's the same process as whether it's front or back.
Right.
Okay.
Yes, it is. I will say, though, what you're feeling indicates to me that there's a little bit of damage in your energy body. So you've got a little bit of damage in your heart chakra. And part of this depends on how long have you had this attachment. If they have been in your energy body not very long, your energy body just closes right up over them, over the spot where you pull the energy out. If it's been there longer, sometimes there's a little bit of auric damage that takes longer to heal, and sometimes then you have some physical sensations. So that's what comes to mind for me, Janet, is that it may be that one in your heart was a little bit older, and so it did a little more damage when you removed it.
Okay.
And I would say with that one, let's just give it a day and see if your energy body should heal itself over.
Okay, that sounds great.
Okay, very good. And I'm glad, interesting that you had some that came to you and some that came from you.
Right.
It's powerful knowledge to know that we do this ourselves. I now catch myself occasionally going, oh, I did not mean to do that, and pull that cord back, I have a strong reaction about something, but then I realize what I just did. And that's part of having energetic intelligence is taking responsibility for yourself energetically and what you're doing. And that's a big part of understanding attachments. So it's really fun for me to share this with you guys. Okay, so Christy, why don't you tell us what you experienced?
Okay, I had a couple in my heart and a couple in my solar plexus, and they were both areas of like somebody needs my healing energy, or I am worried about somebody, and I let those go and I watched them get white. But the thing that was really significant to me was I found a couple on my crown, and that came to me as people interested in knowing how I know things.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I let those go, and those are harder to get rid of.
Yes.
But I did find something at the back of my, where did I write down? Somewhere in my back, I think it was the back of my heart, that felt like gossip. And and
okay.
I know where it comes from. So I thought that was really interesting because I'd really worked on that situation, but it's hiding back there.
So is that coming from you or going to
No,
you?
it's coming at me.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's coming
Interesting that you
back.
can just feel the energy and know
I
something
knew
like that.
instantly what it was. Yeah, it was weird.
That's awesome.
But some of them it's just like, oh, that's just a cord. I'm just going to get rid of it. I don't care where it comes from or what it is. But that one, I knew instantly what it was.
Mhm. And it can be valuable to know because it helps you to make decisions about certain situations.
Yeah.
When you do know.
Well, and I can see how if you have somebody throwing a lot of gossip at your back, it eventually will start to erode your sense of self.
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely it will.
Yeah.
It
So,
does
good to
damage.
get rid of.
These attachments do damage.
Yeah. Oh.
Well, and the crown chakra attachments I find really interesting because there are definitely emotionally charged thoughts that come out of spirituality. And yes, some of them are, how do you know what you know? How are you doing what you're doing? And some of them come to us when people do not like what we believe.
Yeah.
Or think that we should believe something that they believe or believe differently.
Yeah.
And so crown chakra attachments come out of that. If you're, for example, if you're leaving your religion of birth or, making a big change spiritually, you'll find that you get some crown chakra attachments from people that get really strongly, have big, strong reactions to that.
So I should look at them as validating then?
Well, really, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, but it's good to know that they can be there.
Yeah.
And that's where they're coming from.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought that. So that was good to see.
Good, very good. Okay, Mary Jo.
Well, I must have more than everybody else. I got 4 out of the root chakra. 2 of them were mine.
Okay.
The next one, the orange one, I'm not name-wise here working well. There were 6.
Okay.
About equal. I don't know. I do know where a couple of them came from, and by that time I kind of was understanding what we were doing, but those were not as easy to cut, or not cut, but to pull. But I did, and then the solar plexus didn't have any that I could find. Then I went to my heart chakra, and they were like, "Don't even ask."
Okay.
And that's about as far as I got. I had like 10 or 12 in my heart chakra, and they were not as easy to get rid of.
Yes.
So that's as far as I got, and I do know that I absorb people's energy. I do know that, and it took me half a lifetime to realize it, and I have to guard against it. Because I can walk into a room and just suck everybody's bad stuff right out of them, and everybody's fine but me.
Right.
So this is a good one for me.
Good. Mary Jo, I want to encourage you to pick up the first class, which was 2 weeks
Yes.
ago. You can buy it as an email reading, and it is specifically about being an empath and how to not pick up everybody's energy when you walk into the room. There's some exercises in that class that will help you a lot. The core pulling is really important too, but on top of that other stuff.
I'm going to do that.
And the good news is you can do this every day. And it's true that sometimes you find that you don't have hardly any, and other times it's sort of shocking how many you have.
Yeah.
And that's okay. I'm glad you're here.
I need to be here, yes. And I almost didn't come, but I thought, no, this is for me. I need this. Because my energy is just gone.
Right, and we need to get it back. You need to get it back. We all, none of us function well when we have attachments like that.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you. Michelle, what have you got there?
My cords were sort of evenly spread out. Interestingly, I just came off a shamanic journey with Lizanne, so I had one in my crown, but it kind of felt good there. But I pulled it out, and it was neutral. I still pulled it out.
Okay.
And then the things that surprised me were like in my heart chakra. I mean, no, this doesn't surprise me. I had a lot of cords from my daughter in there. But there's a part of me, Christy, honestly, that's like, well, is it a bad thing to pull the cords from my daughter? I mean, not that I want to, encourage enabling or codependency, but I
Now,
don't know.
There's a cord between you and your daughter that you can never pull. And this is what we as parents have to know, is that we
Okay.
have energetic connections to our kids, and they may be biological, they may be adopted, they may be step. It just depends on if you become the parent in their heart, you have a cord to them that will never be able to be pulled. So it's the other ones that we need to pull that create dependency. But know that ultimately when she's really in need of you, she can always still access you.
Yeah, I didn't pull that one. But I pulled some of the ones that I've sent out to other people.
Good.
So,
Yeah.
and then the other ones, I didn't have one in my second chakra, but there was like a wound there, which was kind of interesting to see.
Okay.
So, no cord, but wound. So,
okay. Let's keep that. I'm going to keep that in the back of my mind, and we will, in our next class, let's address that.
okay. Thank you.
Talk about that. You're so welcome. So I know Michelle actually has another question that I want to get to at the end of the class, but I'm just wondering before that, do any of you have any questions about how to do this? If you were to do this every day, do you understand how to do it?
Yep. Yeah.
Good, okay. And I do encourage you to do it every day. And if you have a particularly troubling interaction with someone, then do it again. Throughout the day, there will be times when you will go, man, I have got to pull that. I felt that happen. You will get more and more sensitive to cords, and you will actually feel the attachments happen, which is powerful because you can clear them faster, and the faster you clear them, the better, the less damage you have, and the less impact to your own physical energy you have. So if you start to feel them and notice them as they happen, pull them. Just pull them and send them back. It's okay to let those go. And remember that your energetic connections to your family members, to your children particularly, do not show up in this kind of a cord pulling, and you will never be able to actually pull those, which is in many ways positive. In some ways is hard. I've worked with lots of people who have a parent that they wish they could pull their cord from permanently because they've had to cut them out of their life for one reason or another. And ultimately, you can never actually completely clear that energetic attachment. We all have them, but we can talk. We'll do a class about that. We'll talk about thinning a cord that is a permanent cord that maybe needs to have a little work done on it to thin it. But that's kind of where we're at. So I want to encourage you to do this every day, and we'll hit on this topic again, I'm sure. But this, you'll find how powerful this is when you are just feeling yourself in your own energy. So Michelle, would you very quickly tell us your question, because I wanted to address that.
I've just noticed that my daughter and her kids don't live near me, and I just noticed that they've been having just wonky energy, like they can't settle down, like everybody is kind of going amok right now, like they don't know what to do with this energy. And so my grandchildren have a hard time sleeping sometimes, and I just didn't know if there was something that I could do to hold, I don't know, calm energy. I didn't know if there's something that I could do to help them.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to teach you guys a skill. This is a distance energy healing skill. Everyone can do this. This is to send a rainbow ball of light. So when you send a rainbow ball of light, you're sending every color of the spectrum, because you're basically saying, I don't know exactly what they need. I'm just going to send them everything and let their energy body take it and use it however they need. And so you just close your eyes, and you're going to form this ball of rainbow energy in your heart. Just see it form in your heart chakra. And when it becomes a ball, it should be a ball of energy, just pull it out with your hand. And then I want you to just push it forward. And as you push it, in your mind, you intend who it's going to. So you think the name or visualize the face of the person that you're sending it to, and you send that ball of rainbow energy to them. And as you do that, you ask that it just be for their highest and best good. that they get this energy for whatever purpose they need. And Michelle, in your mind, you can think, if it's for your grandchildren and they're not sleeping, you send that ball of light to them and you ask that this energy assist them in sleeping, or you assist them in being grounded, or whatever, in reducing the chaos around them. However you want to qualify it, you can. But it's a very simple way of sending energy to any person or any situation. And because you're sending a rainbow ball of light, you're sending all the frequencies at once, you don't have to worry about if you're sending the right thing for what they need. Does this make sense?
Yes, thank you.
You bet. Anybody have any questions about that?
No, I just think it's awesome, though.
Yeah, it's great. You can use it by distance for anything that you need to use it for. You're just sending it's sort of like I'm sending a multi-purpose ball of energy, and it's just going to get used for whatever purpose this person needs.
It is hard when your child and grandchildren or grandchild are far away. It's just hard, and sometimes you don't read it correctly, and this is wonderful.
Yeah, this way you don't have to determine what the need is or what the cause is. Just send that. So that's two things I want to encourage you to practice until we meet again. So using the rainbow ball of light and doing cord pulling. Now, there are several of you tonight that are new. I'm going to send out the MP3 of the class. When I send it, I'll send out instructions for if you would like to join our Facebook group. I have a little Facebook group going so we can discuss things in between classes, and also so that you can ask me questions. Like if, for example, you weren't going to be here tonight but you wanted me to cover something so you'll hear it in the recording, you can ask questions, and then I'll just share special little things along the way. So you don't have to join that, but you're welcome to, and I'll send you instructions when I send out the MP3 of class about how to do that. Okay. Any final questions? Nope. Okay. Well, thank you guys so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Remember that you're always welcome to email me through the system if you have a question, or on the Facebook group. If you go to work on cord pulling later and you think of something that you didn't ask in class, you are welcome to ask me after. That's no problem. And we will meet again in 2 weeks. So you guys have a great night.